Hey everyone, welcome back. Now that we've been back from our Japan trip for a little bit and we've had some time to reflect, we wanted to do a little video about the things we wish we knew before we traveled to Japan. Because there was definitely things we were nervous about, like language barrier, sensory overload, traveling around on the subways. So we thought we'd take a minute and share some of the things we learned.
Yeah, because it feels intimidating for the first time. So yeah, we wanted to share some tips and make it a little easier for you. I think the first one and the most obvious one is the language barrier. That is a big fear. It was a big fear for us going into this trip. And it actually didn't end up being as big a problem as we thought. So yes, English is not the native language for the Japanese people, and it is not written everywhere, which is, I think that's the biggest fear too. So not necessarily that people don't speak the same language, but you just can't read
You
things,
can't sound it out like you might if you're in France or Germany.
You can kind of figure it out, or the words might look similar, right? And so if you don't understand Japanese, it's like you just can't use those visual cues to find things. But I would say it definitely wasn't as big a problem as I thought. There definitely was English in, at least in the major cities like Tokyo and
Major
Kyoto.
tourist areas definitely have a lot of dual signage.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely, you can get around it too with technology now, which is great. So using things like, Google image search and stuff like that, you can just Google Translate, all that stuff. You can just hold your phone up and it can translate it for you if it is a big deal. Like say you buy a drink at a 7-Eleven and you're like, what is this? And you can hold your phone and be like, oh, it's apple juice or whatever it is, right? Yeah. I think that really comes in handy. But I think on the other side of that is we thought there would be more of a barrier between us and the locals. So you would go to a restaurant, how would we order food? How would we get around that? And everyone was, I would say most restaurants,
really friendly.
Yeah, everyone, they could either understand a little English, and they would, because obviously they would know that we're not locals. They would be like, okay, we know these people they don't speak Japanese. So they would try and speak English, or they would say things. But even if they didn't, they were so friendly that you could figure it out.
Yeah. Also, most restaurants, either you're ordering on a system and everything has pictures. A lot of menus have pictures. So it was you can get around it.
Yeah, I think that was definitely what we did, especially when we first got to Japan. And if you haven't seen some of those, we've got a whole series. So if you want to check them out, just head back into we've got a whole playlist. Yeah, definitely. I think in those first few days, we gravitated towards those restaurants that had an ordering system where you could press a button, get a ticket, hand it to the person, and they would give you your food. But there was definitely some situations later on in the trip where we went to a smaller ramen shop in Kyoto. The owner didn't really speak English, but they had a picture menu so we can point what we wanted. And then there was even sort of we conversed in sort of just pointing and because there was
hand
a
gestures.
Spice level of I said I wanted it spicy, and he was like, how spicy do you want it? And we got there by being is this really spicy? Is it not very spicy? And things like that. So there's definitely ways around it, and I think definitely, if one of the main barriers is you're worried about the language barrier, I would say don't worry about it. You will get by. It's fine. A little intimidating at first, but you'll be fine.
Yeah. So the next thing we wanted to talk about, this is the thing I was most nervous about, was how overstimulating is this going to be? Because you think of Tokyo, you think of bright lights and crowds, and you see the videos of people being pushed onto the subway, and I don't do particularly well in those situations. And I was really nervous that I was gonna just have a whole bunch of breakdowns on this trip. Just from overstimulation. And honestly, it was fine. I was expecting Megadon Quixote. Super overwhelming. It's a ton of things. It's a loud Bruno Mars pop song that plays over and over and over, and lots of lights and stuff. Totally fine. Shibuya, fine. The only place I actually got overwhelmed was in Bamboo Forest because it was a lot of American tourists being very loud. But generally speaking, Japanese people are so quiet.
They're so quiet.
That even though there's all this other stuff going on, it wasn't hitting
Yeah, everyone's so
overload for me.
The Japanese are just so polite and sort of quiet and reserved that like even in the mass of people in like Shibuya Crossing, like walking through all these people, it's actually not very loud, which was very surprising for us, and it was
Yeah, and it almost makes like even when you're in crowded situations, like being on a crowded subway car, even if it's crowded, everyone's quiet. Oh, yeah. So it's like it doesn't feel as crushing.
Yeah. And I think obviously it can vary depending where you go. Like if you're out in the middle of the night in Shinjuku or something, it's probably going to be a little louder than you're out in midday in Shibuya. But I think you can also get around some of that sensory. Like say if you are overstimulated by Tokyo in particular, I would definitely recommend staying where we did in Ginza, which is you can just get a quick subway ride. It's only like 10 minutes or something, but it's sort of the financial district. And definitely it was a place to escape some of the bright lights and the stuff like that, which I really liked.
I think that's a really good call out. And yet one of the things a friend of mine told me before we went, she's like, even if you get overstimulated, there's a lot of parks, there's a lot of green spaces. You can remove yourself and get yourself to a quieter place pretty quickly. Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah. All right. The next one is the Tokyo subway. This one, I think, made me the most nervous. Like, I've used a lot of subway systems. I know, like, a lot of countries do them very well. But I was a little worried from what we talked about earlier, like things like the language barrier, like signage, not knowing, like, where to go. Yeah, like, as you even said, like, there's all these pictures of people, like, shoving people on the train, like, squishing them in, and I think that was a little overblown as well, and it was something we definitely didn't have to worry about. The Ginza area we stayed in was very close to Tokyo Station, which is the biggest like station. Like people are coming from everywhere. It's
massive.
There's commuters there. There's people traveling to traveling to Kyoto. There's all sorts of stuff going on there, and it was amazingly simple. Like they are so well signposted. They are even signposted in English, most of the things, at least the station names and things like that. And then everything is sort of color-coded for the lines you need to take. And you just essentially follow the lines through all the place. And it was super easy.
Yeah.
And I would say it's just like, I don't know, it just flowed very easily. And it was something that like, the moment you get in those stations and you figure it out once, you're good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, but I loved it. It was super efficient. It was super easy to use. And yeah, I definitely use the subway. It's
absolutely use the subway. And I think if you've used any other subway metro system anywhere in the world, you'll be fine. If you've never used a subway system before, you will still be fine.
Yep.
As long as you can like read English or Japanese, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And just if you are a little overstimulated, just take your time. There's always people to help as well. We had certain instances of where we took the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train, to Kyoto, and we had an issue, like I think it was when we exited, where one of our like passes wasn't scanning properly, and we just went and talked to the person, and they're like, "Yeah, it's fine," and then they just let you through. Like, definitely, there's people around that will help you. People are very friendly, even just sort of. Even the non-staff, I feel like even the just locals using the systems will help you too.
Oh, yeah,
if they see you struggling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't worry about it.
The next thing to really be aware of is, on the subject of subways and trains, is the Japanese are punctual.
Extremely punctual.
This is, like, it is the embodiment in a culture of if you're 30 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
The trains and the subway are on time to the second.
Yeah.
This is especially true with the Shinkansen. If your train is at 12:01, it'll pull out at like 11:57.
Yeah.
And then you have 3 or 4 minutes for them to load the entire train, and it is leaving at 12:01.
It will leave at the time it says it's like that. The time of your train. It's not the time it's pulling in.
Yeah, it's the time it's leaving.
It's leaving then.
And you have about 4 minutes.
Yeah. I was super impressed with how they did that. Like, because we got on at Tokyo Station to go to Kyoto, and that was kind of the end of the line. Yeah, so it kind of came in, and it was then going back out. And they essentially went in, everyone got off, everyone has to wait behind like a barrier, like these doors open, everyone comes off, they close the barrier again, and staff go in. and then they like moved all the chairs to face the other direction.
They cleaned it and sanitized
They cleaned
everything.
it in like a minute. And then opened it up, everyone gets in, you have to put your luggage away, all that stuff in like a minute or two.
It was impressive.
It was crazy. So definitely be on time.
Yeah.
Like be early. Like we got there pretty early. Like we were probably there like an hour early, which might have been a little overkill, but they have waiting areas kind of downstairs and stuff like that. But definitely get there early.
Give yourself time.
Be prepared to sort of get on, figure out. Oh, little tip too for the Shinkansen is they will have posted on each like you'll know where your seat is if like you can buy assigned seats, and they will say on each door of the carriage, like the front and the back of each carriage, which seats, like which way they go and which seats are there. Because on the way there, we were at the other end of the carriage, had our luggage, and walk past all the people, squish past them, and then get in. So you definitely line up at the correct spot. You'll get in fast.
No problem. And another good thing to know, if you are traveling between cities on Shinkansen, you can use services to send your luggage. We are particularly paranoid about being parted from our luggage for any length of time. Yeah. So we just brought it with us. Yeah. And the seats we purchased were at the end of the carriage, and there was bulky luggage storage for our seats right behind our seats. Yeah. And it is reserved for those seats.
Yeah, you have to, like, some tickets for the Shinkansen you can buy day of and just go on and sit where you want. But for those, you do need to pre-book those. And they're called like oversized luggage or something like that. And that just ensures you're at the back of the carriage, with those spots to put your big suitcases behind. If you have a smaller suitcase, you can put it up above. Yeah. But if you've got like a full-size, like checked luggage bag, I would definitely recommend doing that. It was like a few bucks more. It wasn't that expensive. Yeah. But on the same vein, Subway, not quite the same, like not quite as intense, but the Subway is also be there before your train. Like there'll be another one come around if you miss it.
It's pretty quick.
But like expect them to be like get on and off really quickly, and like they're on time. I don't think there was ever a late train.
No.
Yeah. All right, so the next one is sort of flows in from this, but it has other uses. It is the Suica card. This was a game changer. This was amazing. Like Suica is life. I loved it. Essentially, what a Suica card is it's a card that you can get a physical card, so you can get them at like train stations and like convenience stores and stuff. But what we did, and this is what we'd recommend, is you can load the Suica card onto your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. Yeah. Essentially, you can just load it with some currency. I think we put like 1,000 yen or whatever, or something, like not much. We put a small amount to start with.
I thought you were going to say $1,000, and I was like, we did what?
No, 1,000 yen. We just put a little bit in. Well, I don't know, 10 US or 20 US bucks or something to start with, and you can just keep topping it up as you go. And this, the only way we actually used it was for the train ticket. So for Subway, like the Subway, Tokyo Subway. So you put it in, then all you have to do is hold your phone over the like the entrance and tap it in. You go in, tap it off, and then it charges you for each train journey.
And you don't have to actually pull it up on your phone. It just knows it's on your phone.
It just knows it's there.
Your phone doesn't have to be, it can be like this.
Yeah, you don't have to open your wallet and like have it there ready and do it. You just tap.
It was awesome.
And then you can also then use this you can actually use this, I think, in convenience stores. You can use it at some vending machines. Yeah. All sorts of stuff. Found it super easy and like a really convenient way to use it because
topping it up was really easy too. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, topping it up, super simple. You can do it kind of as you go, and it always shows you how much is left on your balance. Yeah. And it was useful because there were some situations where like credit cards aren't as accepted as some other countries, so having that as another backup to a credit card, so it was really handy just to know like, oh, if they didn't accept my Visa or American Express, I could use a Suica card, or if you needed cash. And on that note, let's talk a little bit about cash.
Yeah, so we do not carry cash on us in our normal everyday lives.
I can't remember the last time.
I can't remember the last time we had cash on us. Japan is definitely not as credit card friendly as the US is. Yeah. So highly recommend, definitely get some yen out. either before your trip or when you get there from an ATM. I think we just got it at an ATM in a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, we went to 7-Eleven on the first day, and just withdrew a certain amount. It was very simple. Yeah. Don't worry about sort of like having to find banks and stuff. You can just go to 7-Eleven. It was really easy there.
But the important thing is they're really coin dependent. They have bills as well, but a lot of their smaller denominations, their ones, I think they're 5s as well, are coins.
Lots of coins.
Lots of coins.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend enough. Get a decent sized coin purse. I started out with like a little wallet one, and we wound up buying
very quickly
a bigger one at. Wish I had it here and I could just. Whoop.
I think we've got it on video. I'll put it over the screen.
We got a little.
It's like a little
Shiba coin purse because you're gonna be diving into that thing all the time.
Yeah, because you'll use like vending machines all the time to get like drinks and. Even like you could even use a lot of your coin at the convenience stores and you just like dump them in and it like sorts them.
Yeah.
That's a little tip. If you have a ton of coins at the end, which like we did, go buy like a bag of chips or something at the 7-Eleven and you can just dump all your coins in and then it will spit the change out. It's just almost a way to like just like round up or like just it will spit like bills out or just like a more convenient coin instead of all the little ones.
Yeah.
But they're also handy for our like little obsession we had.
Oh, the gacha machines.
Yeah, so the gacha pawn machines, like the little gacha balls, they take coins, so it's a good way to use all the coins too.
But yeah, I definitely recommend something instead of something that zips because that's going to be narrower, something that like pops open.
Yeah.
That's just going to make it easier to go in and get those coins because you're going to be diving in there all the time for convenience stores, vending machines, gacha balls.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah. But yeah, don't stress too much about like when you arrive, like, oh, like I don't have cash on me, like I can't. Totally you'll be fine. Like most places, like you can figure out how to use your credit card or stuff like that. Yeah. Like, and especially like use your Suica card to get on the train or whatever to get to your hotel. But once that's done, just head to a 7-Eleven or a Lawson's or a Family Mart, and you can get some cash out there. Yeah. So the next one is dependent on when you go, but we went in September. Right? And we were expecting it to be slightly cooler.
Yeah.
We knew it would be, like, still a little warm.
I think I was expecting, like, mid-70s Fahrenheit.
Yeah, and...
It was not.
It was brutally hot still. And I think this year it might have been sort of unseasonably warm.
Yeah.
But be prepared. So even if it is, like, fall... you might still experience some incredibly hot temperatures. Yeah. It was very hot and very humid, and it was just not what we had sort of anticipated. And it just sort of threw us a bit. It was fine, but like if you're there in summer through, I would say sort of like, mid-fall, mid-autumn, definitely bring a few more, t-shirts and things like that than you think you would need.
We were changing t-shirts and underwear about twice a day.
Yeah.
Because we would you go outside and we would like sweat through everything immediately.
Yeah.
And we live in North Carolina. We are used to heat. We are used to humidity. And this was pushing us.
Yeah. Apparently the Japanese don't feel it as much.
They don't sweat, apparently. It's interesting.
Because a lot of them were just like, going to work in their long sleeve shirt. Yeah, like suits and long pants. And I don't know how they did not die in that heat, but they were used to it. But you can also buy little like neck fans and like sprays.
Hand fans are very popular. Like cooling sprays and cooling towels seem to be very popular, and a lot of people carry parasols just to like block the UV light, which I'm sure helped.
Yeah.
So all of those things are really popular, and if you go to those, use those tools, you will not look weird.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, just be prepared for whether you might not expect.
And hydrate.
Yes.
Yeah, take advantage of those vending machines because you're going to need to hydrate.
Because, when you're going, especially in, like, Tokyo, I think Kyoto as well, there's a lot of walking. Like, we walked a lot. We walked 20,000 steps a day.
Easily.
Like, minimum 20,000. Yeah. So, very hot. So, just, hydrate, bring the right clothing, like, all that kind of stuff, and you'll be fine. But, just expect the unexpected when it comes to the weather.
Yeah. And speaking of walking, Tokyo is so much bigger than you think it is. I had no concept
Right.
of, like, you look at it on a map and it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And I think in my brain I was like, oh, it's a city, it's compact.
Yeah.
They cram a lot into every square centimeter of that city.
It can take, like, I think as I said, we were in Ginza, and, like, we looked at where, like, Shibuya was, and it wasn't crazy long, but, like, even on the subway, it took, I think, 20, like, maybe 15 minutes or so to get down there. And if we walked, it would have taken, I think, an hour.
Yeah.
To walk from, if you look at it on Google Maps, it doesn't look far.
Yeah, and I will also say, this is not specific to Tokyo, but distance was funny for us.
Yeah.
What looked like a small space on the map.
This is in Kyoto,
What might look like a small space on the map might be further than you think. Definitely double check. Like, if I walk this, how far is it going to be? Because Grant thought something was 2 blocks, because that's what it looked like, and it was a 20-minute walk.
Go check out Nishiki Market video in Kyoto. I was like, oh, we have like 20 minutes to kill before the market opens. Let's just go up to this park. It's like
right there.
It's 2 blocks. It took us like 40 minutes. Like, it was crazy.
I almost threw you in the river.
So yeah, definitely, even if you're, because like most of the time I put the directions in and be like, oh, it's going to take this long. This was like, oh, it's just there. Let's just walk it. Don't do that.
Double check.
Always put it in, see the actual distance and the actual time it's going to take you, because it can be a big place when you're walking. We mentioned a little earlier, but now let's dedicate an entire section here to convenience stores. Oh, convenience stores.
We love them.
7-Eleven, Family Mart, and Lawson's are the big sort of 3, I would say. They are, you might think they're a little overhyped. You know, a lot of Western tourists, vloggers in particular, will hype them up. And we believed the hype. We were like, this might not be as good as people say it is. No, they are great. Like, if you've experienced, in particular, say, if you're from the U.S. in particular, like, you know of 7-Eleven, and they're not great. They're convenience stores. They're kind of expensive. The food's not very good.
Yeah.
This is not the case for the convenience stores in Tokyo or Kyoto. Wherever you go, they're everywhere. It's not fine dining. No. Definitely not. But extremely high quality food and very, very reasonable prices on everything. So like, we would often go there for breakfast. Just go grab a pastry or a sandwich or something and grab a iced coffee or all that kind of stuff. And it was like, it would cost us like less than $5 US. Like, it was super cheap. And everything is really fresh. All of these, they're all pre-packaged. Like these like pastries. So like anything you can think of. But you open them up and they're like really fresh.
Like pillowy soft breads. And it was delicious.
It was crazy. And then as I said earlier, you can go there and get things like cash out, and you can get like little essentials if you need it. So if you need to get any like, pain meds or like little things like that, like you can get a lot of that stuff there, and they're open. I think are they open all 24 hours? If not, they were always open when we were out. Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the one life-changing thing we discovered at...
Which we didn't see on a whole lot of vlogs, so we really want to hype it and give it its due.
I've seen it on a couple, but more like sort of like locals or like people that really know Japan. They've been there a few times, and they're like, I know this thing is legit. Let's spend a second to just talk about Family Mart. So overall, like, we probably went to 7-Eleven more for random snacks. But then we always went to Family Mart, like, multiple times throughout the trip to get Fami Chiki. What is Fami Chiki?
Fami Chiki is a little thinly pounded, breaded and deep fried, I think it's chicken thigh.
I think it was thigh meat.
It's juicy, it is succulent, it's got a little bit of spice to it.
Yep.
It is the best fried chicken I have ever had.
Best fried chicken of my life. And we live in, like, the South in the U.S. So, like, North Carolina.
We fry everything here.
Fried chicken is huge here. Mm-hmm. And this was the best fried chicken I've ever had. And it costs, like, a couple of bucks. You grab it at the convenience store.
So good.
Fami Chiki. You can't go to Japan without trying a Fami Chiki. You can also get, like, a spicy version of it. Mm-hmm.
We didn't try the spicy version.
The regular was good enough.
Yeah, it had a tiny kick to it.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Don't sleep on Fami Chiki.
Yeah, I think you can get like the same sort of thing at the other ones, but I don't know. I'm partial to the Famichiki. The branding is very good, just in particular.
Yeah, we're a sucker for good branding over here.
And I've heard that you can get like a little like bag,
A Famichiki.
Famichiki, like an actual Famichiki bag. I couldn't find it anywhere, unfortunately. If you've been to Japan and found the little like Famichiki bag that you can buy, put it in the comments below, because next time we're there, I gotta try and get that. But yeah, love it. Don't skip Famichiki, and then also. Yeah, convenience stores live up to the hype. Check them out. Stop in there for whatever you need. They're great.
Yeah. So on a less fun but more practical note, something really interesting about public restrooms in Japan is there will likely not be soap.
Yeah.
Or like paper towels or a hand dryer or something. Mm-hmm. So highly, highly, highly recommend bring hand sanitizer with you. Keep it in your bag, in your pocket, whatever.
For sure.
It's also, most Japanese people also carry a little hand towel with them. We did not have that, and I kind of regretted it.
Yeah.
They sell them everywhere there. Mm-hmm. It's in all the convenience stores, any souvenir shop you go into will have them. So if you want your... My Neighbor Totoro, like, branded, or your Pokemon or whatever, you can get it when the character of your choice.
Yeah, they're big on their, like, sort of personal hygiene, like, taking responsibility for their own
for yourself.
Hygiene.
Yeah. And I think part of this is to help keep restrooms clean, so they're not having to, like, clean up paper towels and all that stuff all the time.
Because Japan is incredibly clean. Like, Tokyo was probably one of the cleanest big cities I've seen.
I literally ate something off the ground that I dropped. It is that clean.
Yeah. And on that note, there's a reason why. And there are very, very minimal amount of trash cans. And, like, there are some trash cans. They're generally in, like a bigger mall, or the actual convenience stores, like 7-Eleven will have a trash can in the store.
But it is extremely not okay to bring your trash in there and throw it out. It's for trash from things you purchased.
Yeah, you need to...
I think they can actually fine you if you...
Yeah, there were signs that said, like, don't put outside trash and things like that. Yeah. And some places we found some occasional, like... trash cans that were just for like water bottles and stuff like that. But because of this, bring a bag, like a tote bag or a plastic bag. The easiest way I think to deal with this would be maybe bring like a tote bag, and then if you go to like 7-Eleven and buy a few things, ask for a plastic bag. And then you can sort of put your garbage in the plastic bag, and then maybe throw that plastic bag into your tote bag. Carry it around as long as you have to. Like, maybe go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Then empty your trash there, because you will otherwise you'll be walking around with like maybe your coffee cup or whatever, and you're holding it all day. Yeah. Yeah, there's just no trash anywhere, and don't litter, because you don't want to mess it up.
I think somebody would probably materialize out of nowhere and like beat you with a stick or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely just one of those things. It's very, that was a big shock to us, like being like, where are the trash cans? They're not everywhere like they are in other places. And it's like, there's no trash cans, but there's also no litter. Everyone's just extremely good about, not littering and carrying their own stuff, and personal responsibility for their garbage.
Yeah. So bring that bag and then just like throw it out in your hotel room at the end of the day. You'll be fine. The last one, Grant, this is your favorite thing.
Oh my God. Okay. So like everyone talks about them, like the vending machines everywhere, especially for drinks, right? We found my favorite soda of all time. And we came into this trip seeing a lot of videos, people talking about like the melon Fanta, the bright green soda. Yeah. It was okay. It was a little overhyped. It was a little too sweet. But there was one which does not seem to get the credit it deserves.
Much like Famichiki.
Yeah. And this is the peach soda. We found this, I think, on day 2, or
it was when we were getting ready to go to Kyoto.
We were at like we found a random vending machine at a shrine, and we're like it was at Sensa OG Temple, actually. That's where it was.
You remember that?
Yeah, and so we found it. It's like a pink bottle. It's got a peach on it, and just it was like, we're like, oh, this sounds cool. Let's try it. And it was great. It was mind-blowing. And I'm not even a soda person, but this was really good.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, great. We now know the soda that we like when we travel around the rest of Japan. We then didn't find it until our final day.
And then we found it one last time.
We found multiple, like, imitations.
Yeah.
There was, like, peach water. And
which tasted like peach juice.
it was nice.
It was nice, but it wasn't a peach soda.
So we ended up finding it somewhere right in the middle of Tokyo. So definitely, if you see it, I'll put, like, a little video here, or a picture or something to show you what the bottle looks like. Get it when you see it, because you might not find it again. It's not at all the vending machines. I don't know if it's because it's a specific brand or something, but so oh man, that peach soda.
We couldn't even find it in convenience stores. No. The struggle was real.
Yeah. But worth it.
Worth it. Yeah, if you find it, get it. So,
I think that's we could probably talk about this for go on and on, but I think that's our sort of main top list of things we just wish we knew before we went to Japan.
Yeah, we wish we'd found peach soda earlier.
Right. And yeah, just little things like so some things are like definitely I think some of these might help you prepare. Like go hey, maybe I don't need to stress about, the language barrier or the trains. And then other things like, hey, make sure you get the Famichiki and the peach soda. Little things to just make your next Japan trip a little easier.
A little more delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like this video, hit that subscribe button below. We've got some very fun trips planned up ahead. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, y'all.